and some parts of northwest India also above to normal to above normal rainfall activity, which could be predicted. So, but over the central part of country, especially UP and northern parts of MP, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, these areas we expected that rainfall will be above normal, but rainfall has been deficient. Now let us look at the temperature during October 2024. The maximum temperature, minimum temperature, and mean temperature are shown in the top column, and their anomaly, that means departure from the normal or deviation from the normal, are shown in the column below. So if you just look at the maximum temperature anomaly, it shows that northwest India, starting from Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, up to Rajasthan, northern parts of Madhya Pradesh, UP, Haryana, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, all these areas are yellow to orange, and this indicates the above normal rainfall activity. Similarly, the eastern part of the country, that is East Central India, you can say, and many other, was above normal rainfall activity. It was below normal rainfall activity. It was normal rainfall temperature. It was below normal temperature, maximum temperature, for some parts of northeastern states, some parts of western India. So I will say that these two regions, that is northwest India and east central India and adjoining North Peninsula, was quite warmer in terms of the maximum temperature. If you consider minimum temperature, entire country, you can say, entire country, except some parts of northeastern states and South Peninsula, we have above normal minimum temperatures. And it was quite high. If you just look at it, was about 2 to 5 degrees Celsius above normal over the plains of northwest India, west central India, and adjoining areas. If I consider mean temperature, it reflects more or less the pattern of minimum temperature. Because of the higher minimum temperature, the mean temperature was higher than normal in major parts of the country, except some parts of northeastern states. Now let us look at the ranking. What happened if I consider all India? The maximum temperature was 8th highest. It is not coming under 10, at least within 5. It's 8th highest. Minimum temperature was the highest, consider data, whatever available with us, 1901 onwards. And mean temperature was also the highest. This year, 1.23 degrees Celsius above normal. Northwest India, if you just look at, again, minimum temperature was the highest and mean temperature was the second highest, and maximum temperature was third highest. Consider data from 1901 to 2024. East and Northeast India, if you consider, here also minimum temperature was third highest. Central India, minimum temperature was the highest and mean temperature was also highest. South Peninsular India, minimum temperature was the highest and mean temperature was third highest. So what I want to conclude from here, that minimum temperature was quite high, and it was record breaking, is being the highest temperature for all India, Northwest India, and South Peninsular, Central India and South Peninsular India. And because of that, the mean temperature was also highest for all India and Central India. Now let us look at the ranking year-wise. If I just look at 2024, the minimum temperature was 21.85. So therefore, it was 1.85 degrees Celsius above normal for the minimum temperature. If I just look at the highest 5 minimum temperatures, what I find that out of that, you have the years 2021, 2013, and 2024. So recent times, after 2000, 3 years have been the higher minimum temperature. Similarly, Northwest India, if I consider, it has been 19.07 against normal of 16.73, and therefore it was highly anomalous. And considering years after 2013, it is 2024 when we have got the higher temperature over Northwest India. Central India, if I just consider, it is after 2020, this year 2024, it has become the highest, that is 20.91, 2.2 degrees Celsius above normal. South Peninsular India, if I just look at all the years in South Peninsular India, are after 2015, that means the recent decade has been quite higher in terms of the minimum temperature over South Peninsular India in the month of October. East and Northeast India also similarly, if I consider, so out of 5 highest years, we got 3 years, 2021 and 2024, which is appearing as the warmest in East and Northeast India. Now let us consider the mean temperature. If I consider mean temperature, then 2024 is the rank 1, and we have got 2017, 2015, and 2020. So out of 5 highest ranking, we have got 4 years in October since the data of 1901. So Central India, if I just consider here, out of 4 years or 3 years, 2024, 2020, 4 years, 2015, 2017, and 2000. Northwest India, if I just consider here again, 2024, it is the second highest. Highest was in 1951, and recent time about 2024, 2017. After 2017, it has been the warmest. South Peninsular India, if you just look at all the years are in the recent years. And so what I want to conclude that South Peninsular India is showing higher temperature in recent time, both in maximum and minimum temperatures, and hence the mean temperatures compared to other parts of the country. Now let us look at the verification of the temperature forecast. This is the maximum temperature forecast. On the right hand side is the forecast temperature, and left hand side is the actual temperature. I will say if I compare both these diagrams, they're almost agreeing with each other except the northeastern states, say Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and adjoining West Bengal, some parts of Bihar, where it was predicted that it will be above normal, but it has become below normal temperatures. Otherwise, remaining parts, it remained almost as predicted. Now let us look at the minimum temperature. And right hand side is the minimum temperature forecast. Left hand side is the actual minimum temperature. If I compare these two, what I find that many parts of the country has realized above normal minimum temperature as predicted, except some parts of northeastern states, some parts of east central India, where, or some parts of South Peninsular India, where it has become normal, mainly normal, instead of the above normal. So therefore, I would say that the temperatures could be reasonably predicted, both maximum and minimum temperatures, in 80% of area, 20% still going wrong. Now let us look at the major weather systems which occurred in the month of October. There are 4 low pressure systems. Out of that, 2 became depressions, 1 severe cyclonic storm, and another was the low pressure area. Totally, there was 19 low pressure system days out of 30 days of 31 days of the month. So as all of us know that there was a depression during 13 to 15 October over Arabian Sea, 15 to 18 October over Bay of Bengal, and then there was Cyclone Dana. It formed in the morning of 22nd and dissipated on 26th. Now let us see the one by one. This is the back-to-back depression which formed over Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Their tracks are shown here. And this top one is the Arabian Sea depression which crossed Oman coast, and bottom one is the depression over Bay of Bengal which crossed close to north of Chennai as predicted, and it caused good rainfall activity over South Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, South Central Karnataka, Kerala. Now, these 2 systems were predicted very well. You can find this is the extended range forecast we predicted. Forecast issued on 3rd October for the forecast for the week 11 October to 17 October. You can see we predicted that there will be a depression forming here and depression formed. And the next week, we predicted for week 1, that is 11 to 17 September, that there will be 2 depressions, one over the Bay of Bengal, other over the Arabian Sea, and both the depressions occurred. And accordingly, all the bulletins are issued every 3 to 6 hours. It was managed well. Now, this is the severe cyclone storm Dana, which developed over the east central Bay of Bengal and adjoining North Andaman Sea as a low pressure area. And it gradually moved initially west northwestwards and then moved north northwestwards and crossed Bhitarkanika and Dhamra, that is Odisha coast, affecting severely over Kendrapada, Bhadrak, and Balasore districts with a wind speed of 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. So it crossed coast in the early hours of from midnight. Landfall process started and crossed coast between 1:30 and 3:30 hours IST of 25th as a severe cyclone storm with wind speed of 100 to 120 kmph. Now, this cyclone was also predicted in extended range on 17th October. The star mark shows the genesis area, what we predicted and what occurred actually. We gave with high confidence that it's going to be a cyclone and it is moving towards Odisha West Bengal coast. So we issued the pre-cyclone watch for Odisha West Bengal coast on 20th October itself, and cyclone crossed 25th early morning. So 5 days ahead, we started issuing pre-cyclone watch. Then it was followed by cyclone alert 4 days before the landfall. Then we issued the cyclone warning, and then the post-landfall outlook. So what I want to say that India is the only country where we're providing such type of forecast 5 days ahead, even when it is not a cyclone, it was a cyclonic circulation or low pressure area. It is called the pre-genesis forecast. And before genesis of depression, forecast is issued that it will become a cyclone and it will be what will its track, what will its intensity, where the landfall will occur. All these informations are helping the disaster managers and the general public to prepare themselves and hence to minimize the loss of lives and property. And I'm told that there is no loss of life due to Cyclone Dana in Odisha, and very negligible loss happened in West Bengal also. This is the forecast verification of the left one is the pre-genesis track forecast we issued at the stage of a low pressure area on 21st around noon. This forecast was issued. Red line was the forecast track and intensity, and black one is the actual track and intensity. You can see the landfall point here where it crossed the coast. And how the black line, red line met with each other and was very close to each other, giving the confidence to the managers to take all actions. Right-hand side is the wind forecast, what we provided, along with the actual track forecast, and actual track also. You will find that this green area, which indicates the wind speed more than 90 kmph, was covering Bhitarkanika, that is Kendrapada district, Bhadrak district, and Balasore district only. So the core wind was predicted for these three districts. Accordingly, the gale wind, but with reduced wind speed, was predicted for the districts up to Medinipur. We covered our warning of gale wind. 60 to 80 kmph wind speed was predicted for East Medinipur and West Medinipur. Similarly, the adjoining areas of Mayurbhanj districts here, and here warning covered up to Jagatsinghpur district, that's Paradeep and others. And Puri coast also we predicted 60 to 70 km per hour wind speed. And then here, this is the track forecast issued with the formation of depression. You will find that similarly also we predict the track. There is a consistency. Whatever track we predicted on 21st and 22nd, also same track was predicted. For your benefit, we have plotted all the tracks forecast, which is issued from 22nd onwards till the landfall. You will find that all the tracks were similar to each other. They are moving towards Bhitarkanika and Dhamra. There is a consistency in the track. That gives the more confidence and hence the actions. Now, this is the forecast accuracy. It was quite high accuracy. It was up to 72 hours forecast accuracy was quite high, and 24 hours track forecaster was only 30 kilometers, and 60 hours or 72 hours forecaster was 29 kilometers. Similarly, intensity forecaster also was quite high. Landfall point forecast was almost zero. Wherever we predicted 3 days ahead, it crossed the coast there. Now, people are thinking that how do we stand internationally? I have just put up one comparison. The forecast issued by Joint Typhoonic Center, USA, for this particular cyclone. People very often visit this site, and I request all of you that please believe IMD's forecast. IMD forecast is far better than any center internationally issuing the forecast. And it has improved again and again, starting from filing cyclone 2013. This time also, it so happened there was no forecast by them till 23rd morning. And cyclone crossed coast in 24th midnight to 25th morning. And we started forecasting from 20th itself. And this is the comparison of forecast error. You can see green one is IMD's forecast error, and this deep red one is JTWC's forecast error. How the IMD forecast error was quite less, and how their forecast error was quite high. This is the track forecast error, then this is the landfall forecast error, and therefore you can find out that, and this is the landfall time forecast error. How their forecast was 19.5 hours. That means almost 1 day error in telling when the landfall will occur, whereas our error is 0.5 hours. In 48 hours in advance, our forecast error was 0.5 hours, and their forecast error was 19.5 hours. So therefore, through you, I just want to request everyone that please believe in IMD's forecast, and please act upon based on IMD's forecast instead of believing in other sources. Now, this was the realized rainfall of Odisha. So 23rd to 25th, you can see that how the excess rainfall activity occurred during these 3 days. And right-hand side diagram is the all India rainfall distribution. You find out that because of this cyclone, eastern India, especially Odisha, West Bengal, and Jharkhand and Bihar, got excess rainfall activity, and northeastern states got normal rainfall activity. Now, this is the rainfall over West Bengal. This is the date for 23rd, ending at 30 IST of 24th. You can see this was entire Ganges West Bengal where there was excess rainfall activity. Then on 24th, it extended towards southern West Bengal. On 25th, also it extended up to southern West Bengal, Sikkim. And these 3 days covered the entire West Bengal and gave very good rainfall activity. Now, this is the forecast rainfall. We gave heavy to very heavy rainfall for 24th and 25th. Even though we told on 23rd there was isolated heavy rainfall activity, and it was 6 centimeter, just below the margin of 7 centimeter. But on 24th and 25th, there was extremely heavy rainfall activity in both the states, like Odisha and West Bengal, as predicted by us. And this is the wind forecast, the actual wind, what happened actually. I told you that 110 kmph, 120 kmph wind prevailed at the time of landfall, around the landfall time, landfall point, that is about 50 kilometers to the left, 50 kilometers to the right, 50 kilometers to the north and south was the area. So that covered Kendrapada, Bhadrak, and Yarjani, Balasore district, where wind speed was 100-110, was 220 kmph. Now, this is the storm surge or tidal wave which occurred in association with the Cyclone Dana. We predicted 1 to 2 meters of storm surge which are expected in Kendrapada, Bhadrak, and Balasore district. And also we predicted 1 meter storm surge over East Medinipur, 0.5 to 1 meter over the South 24 Pargana districts. And accordingly, if you just look at this, is the right-hand side is the actual storm surge estimated. It shows that yes, maximum storm surge occurred over these districts only, and it shows that right-hand side of the track, that is near around Vasudevpur area, that is in Bhadrak district, you had the maximum storm surge, and range was about 1 to 2 meters. And this is the heavy rainfall, what happened during the month of October. You will find that there was heavy to very heavy rainfall activity, but number of days of, or number of events of very heavy rainfall, if you just look at it, 96. It was also less in 2023, but earlier years it was quite high, 150, 160, 130, etc. So this year, like last year, the number of heavy to very heavy rainfall events was less, very heavy rainfall. But extreme heavy rainfall also, you see, last year it was 5 events, and this year also it was 5 events. And so heavy rainfall distribution, I will say, this year has been quite similar to the last year, and activity becoming low as compared to normal. This is the ENSO conditions. You will find that yes, still the neutral conditions are prevailing. The negative sea surface temperatures can be found here, central part of the Pacific and towards western parts. Eastern part, is also becoming cooler, and the western part is becoming warmer. That is Western Equatorial Pacific. At the same time, East Indian Ocean is also becoming warmer near to Indonesia, and West Indian Ocean is becoming relatively cooler, but still it is warmer. So therefore, neutral Indian Ocean dipole conditions are continuing, and also the neutral ENSO conditions are continuing. But if I take the average temperature of Nino 3.4 region, this region is shown here, Nino 3.4 region, then it is minus 0.5. If you remember last time also when I presented it was minus 0.5, and now also it is minus 0.5. That means slowly, it is evolving slowly towards negative side, and hence the La Nina conditions. Immediately, there is no chance of development of La Nina conditions. But towards the end of this year, so you can say December, there could be the La Nina conditions. You can infer from what has happened in the past. But if you just look at the temperature here, yes, it has become negative in a 3.4 region. Quite for last 2 months, it has become negative, but the threshold is not yet satisfied to declare it as La Nina year. Now, this is the forecast based on October 2024. This is a forecast. If you just look at this blue color indicates La Nina conditions, the gray color indicates neutral conditions, red indicates the El Nino conditions. It shows that La Nina conditions has to develop. So that we are expecting November, December, may not be immediate November, but December, it is most likely that it will become La Nina conditions. This is also supported by other models, what is presented here. If I look at Indian Ocean dipole, this is the zero line, this is the minus 0.4, and this is plus 0.4. All the models you can find out is on the negative side of the zero. That means even though it is within minus 0.4 to 0, but what it indicates that is the negative side of the normal. It is a neutral Indian Ocean dipole conditions, but still it is on the negative side. So forecast like this, the ancestral conditions are prevailing and are likely to develop, and La Nina conditions are likely to develop by end of this year. The neutral IOD conditions are likely to continue over the Indian Ocean. Now, let us look at the forecast for November rainfall. Now, from this diagram, you can find out that many parts in the southern peninsula, you have the dark blue or blue color, so that means there is a good confidence that you will have the above normal rainfall activity over South India. Also, there is a moderate probability that you will have above normal rainfall activity over northeastern states, eastern India, and central part of the country, except some parts of South Madhya Pradesh, and again entire northwest India, where rainfall will be below normal. So when I'm telling the rainfall below normal over northwest India in the month of November, I can infer from this that the number of western disturbances may be less, or intense western disturbances are not likely to affect the northwest India during the month of November. Then only this type of rainfall distribution is possible, number one. Number two, when I look at this high probability of occurrence of higher rainfall activity over South India, that means the northeast monsoon will be active on many days during this month, and hence we can have good rainfall activity over the South Peninsular India. So northeast monsoon becomes active or gives good rainfall activity only if there could be some kind of trough or low pressure area or depression in the easterly waves moving towards South India. So with this, I can expect that there could be some development. We have told that some kind of low pressure system or cyclone circulation will develop towards 4th or 5th of November. It will move towards Tamil Nadu area. By 7th or so, system may lie over southwest Bay of Bengal near Tamil Nadu coast. So these are the inferences we can bring out from this diagram that we can expect in the month of October. But if I consider monthly rainfall for the November, it is most likely to be normal, considering the country as a whole is most likely to be normal. Normal to above normal rainfall likely is most parts of the country, especially as I told you, the South India will be above normal and Northwest India will be below normal. Now let us take the maximum temperature. Now, maximum temperature, if you just look at, it is expected to be above normal over many parts of the country, especially the hills of Northwest India, and then Punjab, East Central India, and Eastern India, Northeastern India, and extreme Southern India. Here you can expect above normal maximum temperature, but west central India and adjoining northwest India, you can expect the below normal maximum temperature. The minimum temperature, if you just consider that many parts of the country will have above normal minimum temperature, except some parts of northwest India, like say Ladakh, etc. And here, some parts of Punjab and some parts of Rajasthan and Haryana. So it is in agreement with the previous one, what I showed you, that northwest India will have the below normal rainfall activity. So if below normal rainfall activity prevails, that western disturbances are less or less intense to affect the northwest India. In such cases, the night will be clear and hence radiational cooling will be higher and minimum temperature could be lower. Therefore, minimum temperature could be lower in parts of northwest India. At the same time, maximum temperature could be higher as we are not expecting much western disturbances. So these forecasts are in agreement with each other. Now let us look at the extended range forecast for next 2 weeks. So week 1 is 31st October to 7 November and week 2 is 7 November to 14 November. If you look at these 2 weeks forecast, it also endorses the earlier points what I told you, that South Peninsular India will have good rainfall activity during next 2 weeks, especially in the second week, you will have very good activity because of that low pressure system which are expecting to move towards Tamil Nadu and adjoining Andhra Pradesh. Now let us look at the minimum temperature. Minimum temperature prediction is that it will become like this, and hence above normal minimum temperatures are expected over northern parts of the country, covering northwest India, northern parts of central India, eastern India, and northeastern states. Similarly, here, if you just look at the week 2, this is also similar. That means for next 2 weeks, we can expect that minimum temperature, that means night temperature, will be warmer. And if I just look at, if I just look at the maximum temperature also shows that it will become the above normal for next 2 weeks in some parts of northwest India and eastern side of the country. But in the central part and peninsular India is expected to be below normal. And this is the forecast for the next 7 days warning pairs. We are expecting heavy to very heavy rainfall activity over Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Mahe on 1st November and slight decrease thereafter. There will be fall in minimum temperature for north and eastern India by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius during 3rd to 7th November. मैं आप सभी को थोड़ी हिंदी में बताऊंगा कि हमारा जो मल्टी मॉडल एंसेम्बल है इसके हिसाब से जो पूर्वानुमान है, ये पूर्वानुमान मैं आपको हिंदी में बताऊंगा नवंबर महीने के लिए। जो 5 मौसम संबंधी उपविभाग हैं जैसे कि तमिलनाडु, पुडुचेरी और कराईकल, तटीय आंध्र प्रदेश और यानम, रायलसीमा, केरल और माहे और दक्षिण आंतरिक कर्नाटक, ये सभी इलाके को हम जैसे साउथ पेनिनसुला इंडिया जिसके लिए हम नॉर्थ ईस्ट मानसून का पूर्वानुमान देते हैं, तो वहाँ मासिक वर्षा सामान्य से अधिक रहने की सबसे अधिक संभावना है। दीर्घावधि औसत दैट इज 123% से ज्यादा होने की संभावना है। सो 1971 से 2020 तक जो आंकड़ों है इसको आधार करके आप नवंबर महीने का रेनफॉल को मापें तो ये 118.69 अर्थात 118.7 मिलीमीटर होता है और ये जो रेनफॉल है ये रेनफॉल से और ज्यादा रेनफॉल होने का संभावना है साउथ पेनिनसुला में। नवंबर 2024 के दौरान उत्तर पश्चिम भारत और मध्य भारत के कुछ क्षेत्रों जो है वहां छोड़कर जहां सामान्य से कम वर्षा होने की संभावना है, देश के अधिकांश क्षेत्र में सामान्य से ज्यादा नहीं तो सामान्य वर्षा होने की संभावना है, जैसे ये चित्र से पता चलता है। इस एरिया में बारिश कम होगा, सामान्य से कम होने का संभावना है, तो ये सब एरिया सामान्य और सामान्य से ज्यादा होने का संभावना है। ये जो व्हाइट स्पॉट्स आपको दिखाई दे रहा है वहां मॉडल का कोई पूर्वानुमान नहीं है, ये नहीं बता पाते मॉडल का लिमिटेशन है ये जो एरिया में। कि बारिश कैसे होगा। अधिकतम तापमान की बात करें तो पूर्वोत्तर और पूर्व मध्य भारत तथा उत्तर पश्चिम और प्रायद्वीपीय भारत के कुछ हिस्सों में अधिकतम तापमान सामान्य से अधिक रहने का संभावना है। पश्चिम मध्य भारत, उत्तर पश्चिम भारत और उत्तर प्रायद्वीपीय भारत के आसपास के क्षेत्र में सामान्य से नीचे अधिकतम तापमान रहने की संभावना है। जैसे आप ये डायग्राम में देख रहे हैं, ये जो एरिया है जो वेस्ट सेंट्रल इंडिया है, जैसे many parts of राजस्थान, गुजरात, मध्य प्रदेश और महाराष्ट्र के अंदरूनी इलाका और कर्नाटक के नॉर्दर्न पार्ट्स के अंदरूनी इलाका, ये सब इलाका में टेम्परेचर बिलो नॉर्मल यानी सामान्य से कम रहने का संभावना है और रिमेनिंग पार्ट्स ऑफ कंट्री में सामान्य से ज्यादा रहने का संभावना है। न्यूनतम तापमान की बात करें तो उत्तर पश्चिम भारत के कुछ हिस्सों को छोड़कर, जैसे आप देख रहे हैं, आप ब्लू कलर के ग्रीन कलर दिखाई दे रहे हैं, जहां सामान्य से नीचे न्यूनतम तापमान होने का संभावना है। देश के अधिकांश हिस्सों में सामान्य से ऊपर न्यूनतम तापमान होने का संभावना है, जैसे डायग्राम में दिखाई दे रहा है ऑरेंज कलर और रेड कलर पे। धन्यवाद। अभी आपका कमेंट्स और क्वेश्चंस का प्रतीक्षा कर रहा हूं, आप अभी क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं।
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good evening, madam.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just had one question. You said that above normal maximum minimum temperatures for the next 2 weeks, and La Nina is also likely to develop towards the end of December. Is it right to say that the onset of winter could also it could impact the onset of winter in India, especially Northwest India?
Actually, we do not declare any onset of winter. There is no such criteria fixed by IMD to define onset or withdrawal of winter season. So winter season is defined as January and February for the country as a whole, but usually December also is treated as winter. November we do not consider as winter.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
This is Jayashree from Hindustan Times. Sorry,
Yes, madam.
I have a bad throat. Sir, I just wanted to know why was it so warm in October? Is it some kind of local conditions that created this kind of warming?
Yeah. So thank you, madam. So there are two issues here, as I have discussed so far, that there was no active western disturbance in the month of October which affected Northwest India. So therefore, there was no such rainfall activity. Rainfall was quite efficient, you can say, and hence rainfall temperature could not. Usually, once the western disturbance passes on, the temperature falls by 4 to 5 degrees Celsius. That did not happen. The second point is that in the month there are 5 low pressure systems, and out of that there are 4 depressions and above. There are 4 low pressure systems. Out of that, 3 were depression and above. 1 was cyclone storms. So when these type of systems are there, the easterly winds propagate, and based on the eastern winds, you get higher than normal temperature. You do not get the lower temperature. For the occurrence of lower temperature, you need northwesterly winds, and that northwesterly winds are weaker over the northwest India and adjacent areas because of the absence of WDs and also prevalence of all these active low pressure systems. And third point is that the monsoon withdrawal itself. Monsoon withdrawal was delayed. Monsoon was delayed in withdrawal, and 23rd only monsoon withdrawal started. And therefore, monsoonal flow was prevailing, which does not allow the fall in temperature. Am I clear?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Fine.
सर
Yes.
हाँ सर, हम जुलाई एंड से ऐसा कह रहे हैं कि ला नीना एक्टिव होगा। आप
हाँ बोलिए, आप सुनाई नहीं दे रहे। बोलिए बोलिए, सुनाई नहीं दे रहे आप।
जैसे हम ये कह रहे हैं कि ला नीना एक्टिव होगा, लेकिन अभी तक एक्टिव नहीं हो पाया है। और ला नीना और विंटर का कोई कोरिलेशन है क्या?
आपने बढ़िया प्रश्न किया आपने। यस, जब हम लोग मानसून का फोरकास्ट दे रहे थे तब भी हम लानिना की बात कर रहे थे कि सेकेंड ऑफ मानसून सीजन पे लानिना डेवलप हो सकता है, वीक टू मॉडरेट लानिना, और अभी तक लानिना डेवलप हुआ नहीं। ये सिर्फ इंडिया के नहीं, पूरा विश्व में, पूरा वर्ल्ड में जितना लानिना और एलिनो फोरकास्टिंग सेंटर है, सभी का पूर्वानुमान गलत जा रहा है सभी का। आई होप द इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी including Indian scientists will analyze and find out why the forecast went wrong in the long range about the occurrence of La Nina conditions this year. It is a matter of research, and so far some logical conclusion has not come from the research, therefore I cannot share with you क्यों ऐसे हुआ, क्यों गलत जा रहे हैं। और फोरकास्ट अभी भी दिखा रहे हैं कि ला निना कंडीशंस डेवलप होगा और टुवर्ड्स एंड ऑफ दिसंबर ला निना कंडीशन डेवलप हो सकता है। सो ला निना कंडीशन दिसंबर डेवलप होगा, तब तक दिसंबर तक तो इसका कुछ इम्पैक्ट नहीं रहेगा हमारा टेम्परेचर के ऊपर। और ला निना कंडीशन में यूजुअली नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में टेम्परेचर लोअर होता है, मगर जब ला निना कंडीशन डेवलप हुआ ही नहीं तब तो अभी लोअर होने का चांस नहीं है। इसलिए हमारा जो फोरकास्ट अभी है आपको बताया कि एबो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर रहेगा। और जब डेवलप हो दिसंबर डेवलप हो जाए तो देन जनवरी में इसका इम्पैक्ट रह सकता है टेम्परेचर के ऊपर, मगर हमको स्टडी करना पड़ेगा, वेट करना पड़ेगा, अभी से कोई कंक्लूजन लेना सही नहीं होगा। और जो सेकंड प्रश्न जो आपने पूछा था कि रिलेशन क्या है, ला निना ईयर्स में टेम्परेचर यूजुअली नॉर्मल होता है, बट ऐसे कोई एक टू एक रिलेशन नहीं है, वन टू वन रिलेशन नहीं है। ला निना के अलावा बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होता है जिसकी वजह से टेम्परेचर प्रभावित होता है नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में, जैसे कि वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस, जैसे कि लो प्रेशर सिस्टम्स और ईस्टर्ली वेव्स, ये सभी का भी बहुत सारा इम्पैक्ट रहता है। सो इसको देखते हुए हम सीजनल फोरकास्ट देते हैं और फॉलो करते हुए एक्सटेंडेड फोरकास्ट, फिर डे टू डे फोरकास्ट फॉर नेक्स्ट 7 डेज जारी करेंगे।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
सर, लक्ष्मण पटाट फ्रॉम गुजरात।
हाँ बोलिए लक्ष्मण जी।
सर, पहले तो सभी को बिलेटेड हैप्पी दिवाली। और सर मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे कि आपने बताया कि वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस अभी बनने की संभावनाएं कम दिख रही है, जैसे कि नवंबर में, ठीक है, तो क्या हम उम्मीद इससे कर सकते हैं कि ठंड की शुरुआत इस बार देरी से होगी?
वही तो मैं बोला कि हम ठंड कब आएगी इसका पूर्वानुमान नहीं देते हैं। हमारा जैसे मानसून का ऑनसेट डिक्लेयर करते हैं ना, ऐसे ठंड का ऑनसेट हम डिक्लेयर नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे पास ऐसे कुछ क्राइटेरिया नहीं है डिफाइन करने के लिए कि ठंड कब शुरू होगा, ठीक है ना। सो इसलिए मैं आपको नहीं बोल पाऊंगा कि ठंड कब शुरू होगा, मगर ये बोल पाऊंगा कि टेम्परेचर कब तक ऐसे एबो नॉर्मल रहेगा। अभी जो टेम्परेचर चल रहा है एबो नॉर्मल प्राय लगभग 2 से 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस एबो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर चल रहा है, दोनों मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम टेम्परेचर जो मैदानी इलाका है नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में, ठीक है। सो हमारी उम्मीद है कि अगले हफ्ते में टेम्परेचर फॉल होगा, मगर ऐसे ऑल ऑफ ए सडन फॉल नहीं होगा और ग्रेजुअल फॉल होगा। ग्रेजुअल फॉल होते हुए टेम्परेचर नॉर्मल की तरफ जाएगा। सो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर जो है अभी नवंबर में ऐसे रहेगा, जो पूर्वानुमान है कि वह पूरा महीना का आप देखेंगे तो ये वो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर हो सकता है। सो इसको हम और स्पष्टता लाएंगे जब हर हफ्ते थर्सडे को हम पूर्वानुमान देंगे। एक पूर्वानुमान में आपको दिखाया कैसे नेक्स्ट 2 वीक्स के लिए एबो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर ये दिखा रहा है। और एबो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर दिखा रहा है इसका मतलब नहीं है कि अभी जो टेम्परेचर है 15 दिन बाद वही टेम्परेचर रहेगा। टेम्परेचर धीरे धीरे तो गिरता है क्लाइमेटोलॉजिकली, इसलिए हम बोल रहे हैं कि ग्रेजुअल फॉल होगा टेम्परेचर में, ऐसे कोई रैपिड फॉल टेम्परेचर में नहीं होगा। और विंटर हम यूजुअली डिक्लेयर नहीं करते हैं और नवंबर को भी हम विंटर मंथ नहीं मानते हैं। यूजुअली दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी को लोग विंटर मानते हैं, और स्पेशली हमारा जो मेट्रोलॉजिकल डेफिनेशन है जनवरी फरवरी को विंटर सीजन बोला जाता है।
ओके, थैंक यू। और सर एक बात मैं तो और जानना चाहता था कि जैसे कि आपने बताया कि गुजरात और राजस्थान समेत के हिस्सों में सामान्य से ज्यादा बारिश नवंबर में रह सकती है, ऐसा पूर्वानुमान है, ठीक है, तो इसका कारण क्या वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस की वजह से ये बारिश होगी?
गुजरात बताया, राजस्थान नहीं बताया हमने। राजस्थान तो बिलो नॉर्मल रेनफॉल हमने बताया, गुजरात में बताया हमने कि ये एबो नॉर्मल रेनफॉल हो सकता है, नॉर्मल एबो नॉर्मल गुजरात। सो कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि कोई वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं होते हुए भी रेनफॉल या डेवलप कर सकता है जब कोई ईस्टर्ली वेव वेस्ट कोस्ट में डेवलप होता है, तब इस सब सिचुएशन पे गुजरात में बारिश हो जाता है। मगर ये ज्यादा बारिश नहीं होता है, 1-2 दिन 3 दिन ऐसे कभी कभी बारिश हो जाता है। हम इसको डे टू डे बेसिस पे मॉनिटर करके इसका प्रेडिक्शन करेंगे। मगर ये वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस के साथ ये बारिश है नहीं, ये ईस्टर्ली वेव के साथ बारिश कभी कभी हो जाता है। जो वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस की बारिश गुजरात में होगा तो एंटायर नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में भी बारिश होगा। ऐसा नहीं होगा कि वेस्टर्न डिस्टर्बेंस आएगा, नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में बारिश नहीं होगा और सिर्फ गुजरात में बारिश होगा, ऐसे कभी नहीं हुआ।
थैंक यू सर।
फाइन, सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन एवं दिवाली के अवसर पर मैं भारत मौसम विज्ञान विभाग की तरफ से आप सभी को बधाई देता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं और शुभकामना देता हूं। We will meet again next month with the forecast for December. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
थैंक यू।